All right. Good morning. We are recording, so for that reason, we're going to keep everybody muted for now, so that we are able to use this content and share with those who are not able to be here. So, good morning. Welcome to the Let's Grow Together Agricultural Ministry launch. I am Reverend Dr. Jennifer Oliver, and Reverend Cubie Finley is on here as well. I'm trying to see if Bishop, either Bishop Brookins or Supervisor is on. I don't see them. So when they do come, we will yield the floor to them and give them an opportunity to speak. But until then, we are going to move on. And I am going to yield the floor to Reverend Finley as he introduces himself in the way of answering the question, what brings me to the table? And then I will do the same, and then we will move forward. You guys, just to let you know, we're not going to be on this call more than an hour. We kind of timed it for that. And it will be participatory at some points. So, Reverend Finley?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Cubie Finley III. I'm the proud pastor of Murphy Emanuel AME Church in North Highlands, California, which is a suburb of Sacramento. I'm a proud country boy. I hail from El Dorado, Arkansas, the county seat for Union County, little small city on the Louisiana border. I grew up in an agrarian culture. My family raised hogs for most of my life. We had chickens, we hunted, we fished. Everybody in the neighborhood had a garden in the back and in the front. And that's just been a part of my existence. Always playing in the dirt, always growing something, and never really understanding how important it was to understand the complexities and the simplicities of how things grow. Older I've gotten and understanding it, it really makes a difference. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the opportunities that are before us, and this is going to be a good thing for everyone. So I am rip roaring ready, fired up, ready to go. Amen.
Thank you so much, Reverend Finley. And I am Reverend Jennifer Oliver. I am an itinerant elder in the Southern California Conference. However, I have a background in agriculture. I have 2 degrees in chemistry and a terminal degree in food science. My research area was food and nutritional toxicology and safety. I did research as a postdoc in the area of nutritional biochemistry and functional food product development at the Alabama A&M University in Normal, Alabama. I was a research associate and adjunct professor there as well. And then I answered my call to ministry. And to be very honest with you, I had no intention of doing anything in agriculture. I was like, Lord, okay, you call me, I'm gonna go preach. I'm gonna do whatever you want me to do. But I'm sure as everybody on this call can account for, that's God has a way of using every bit of us, right? Specifically, if we avail ourselves to be used. So I come to the table as a broken and used, a broken vessel who has a mandate on their life to feed God's people both spiritually and physically. By physically, I mean not just giving them food, but also giving them the wherewithal to have access and sovereignty to feed themselves. I come to this table as one who is not only called, but who is um, prepared, who God has through my journey prepared me for such a time as this, for such a time as this. So I don't use my degree. I'm not in academia anymore. I'm not in what is it? Industry, though I have many students who do work in industry. I consider myself a community food scientist and a food community-based food systems developer, and I do most of that work through my food system solutions firm, Dixon and Dukley, and its nonprofit arm, Manna Movement Collaborative. So that is what brings me to the table, and I'm super excited and I'm thankful for having for being under such visionary leadership, such as Bishop Brookins and Supervisor Dr. Burnett. I had an opportunity to work with them closely when they were over the AME Health Commission. Before they came to the fifth district, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to serve God's church by way of the AME Church, and using my gifting. So that is what brings me to the table. So we're going to start off interactive. So you're not just listening to us by taking this a little poll. So I'm going to put the poll up. And there are no wrong answers. Well, there's one question that there is a right answer to. So I'm going to launch the poll and give you some time to take it. You should see it now. And there are 5 questions. So go ahead and take a brief look at the questions. The first question is, if you could grow only one crop form for the rest of your life, what would it be? The second question is, what is your gardening personality? Are you a green thumb? Everything thrives in your hands. Are you a hopeful planter? You try your best, but results vary. Are you a forgetful farmer? You try your best. Oops. Yeah. Or are you a nature admirer? You love gardens, but you're just not good at growing things. The third question is, if the Garden of Eden had a fast food crop, what would it be? I see nobody picked the vine donut trees yet. Fourth question is, do you know your climate zone? Do you know your climate zone? Yes, no, what's that? And the last question is, there's still some people answering, so we'll give you time to answer. But the fifth question is, this is the only question that there is a right answer, and it is, it's kind of a trivia. I am one of David's mighty warriors who stood his ground and defended a lentil field when others fled. Don't look it up, but it is in 2 Samuel chapter 23, verses 11 through 12. Who am I? See if we have any Bible scholars on here. Please don't look it up though. It's okay if you get it wrong. All right, I have 9 out of 15. I'm going to give you about 2 more minutes to answer the poll. And how about this? While you are finishing answering the poll, I just saw our bishop and supervisor that just came in, I believe. I'm going to yield the floor to allow them to greet us this morning. If you're able to speak.
Go. There you go. Hello? We got it at the same time. Okay. We're in a car together. We're on our way to go see Bishop Tyler Guidry. And so we just realized, because we're in Atlanta, what time it was. But we're so excited that this is happening, and excited about growing together and underscoring again the
Uh-oh, Bishop, you got muted.
There you go. Okay. I'll be brief. So to plant together and to grow together and to the together part of it is so important in terms of the community's ability to eat and to continue to glean the common wisdom that we need in this season. I'm gonna stop talking because it's annoying in this car. Supervisor gonna greet you.
Thank you, Bishop.
Uh, good, what is it, morning to you all. It's great to be with you. I am looking forward to all that you are doing. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for everyone's fellowship. And as we grow together, we will learn together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bishop Brookins and Supervisor Dr. Burnett, for being on the call. We really appreciate your support and just for giving us the opportunity to use our gifts for God's church by the way of the AME Church. So I'm going to stop the poll. That should have given you muted myself. That should have given you enough time to answer the question. So I'm going to end the poll and share the results. And it looks like for the first question, most people would like to grow grains. It looks like for the second question, what is your gardening personality? Most people are hopeful planter. You try your best, but sometimes the results vary. And we have a tie between the questions. If the Garden of Eden has had a fast food crop, what would it be? 42% said miracle mangoes, while 33% said heavenly hot peppers and 25% said everlasting avocados. Okay, it looks like everybody, some people know their climate zone and some people, 58% do not, but at least you know what it is. And then the very last question, I am one of David's mighty warriors who stood his ground and defended a lentil field when others fled. That answer to that question is Shama. So we do have some scholars in here who were able to answer those questions. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen so we can kind of get into it as to why are we here? Did everybody see that on their screen? Does everybody see that on the screen? For some reason I don't see it. Guess I gotta go back. I'm gonna stop sharing again. Try this again for me.
We saw it and then it disappeared.
Saw it and then I disappeared. Okay. Now do you see it? Do you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So why are we here? Just a little bit of statistics. We are here because 47 million people in the United States are food insecure, 14 million of those individuals being children. We're here because over 50 million people turned to food programs in 2023, which means, and this covers the whole entire nation, 100% of the counties in the United States have some level of food insecurity, with the upwards of 10.5 million people experiencing some form of food insecurity within the scope of the 5th Episcopal District of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. Now, what is really important for us to understand is that hunger can affect people from all walks of life. Millions of people in America are just one job loss, one missed paycheck, or one medical emergency away from being hungry. But we also have to understand that hunger doesn't affect everyone in the same way. We being a part of the African American community, we know that there's some groups like children, communities of color, rural communities, women, people with disabilities who face hunger at a much higher rate because newsflash, systematic barriers still are a cause of root cause of food insecurity. There are systematic barriers. So real quickly, but what is the food system? So we kind of need to know what it is and how it's being impacted. So what is it first? The food system is defined as all of the elements and activities related to producing and consuming food and their effects, including economic health and environmental outcomes. This is the food system circle, which gives us a helpful model in understanding some of these components. As consumers, we are most familiar with purchasing, preparation, and consumption of food because, of course, these are things we do every single day. But also as consumers, many of us are not aware that this circle model, though it's helpful, it leaves out really key components such as labor and relationships, culture, health, outcomes, environmental impacts, education, and also career opportunities in the food system. So for that reason, I like to show people this diagram because it really shows, it allows us to see the relationship between the food supply chain and the larger biophysical and social institutional context. So here we're able to see what it takes, the different components of what it takes, right, to get the food that we eat from farm to table. And we see all these different factors that are kind of looming above us and looming below us that affects this process. So we're able to clearly see how one aspect of the food system can affect the other component, both in a positive and negative way. So one quick question, anybody know who this is? This is Reverend Dr. Vernon Johnson. So maybe you haven't heard his name before, but Dr. Vernon Johnson was a preacher and a pastor. He was actually the pastor of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, before Martin Luther King Jr. was there. But Dr. Johns was also a farmer and an entrepreneur. He used to preach on Sunday, and then after church, he would set up a produce stand at the church for members to purchase food and other goods. He was a pioneer. He was before his time. He was a pioneer in his own right for the idea of buy black. And he believed, you see this statement that he said, if we are only consumers, then we are just parasites. He said this because he truly believed that a productive church was a church that empowered its congregation to take care of its own needs. So I'm going to repeat that for emphasis. He believed that a productive church was a church that empowered its congregation to take care of its own needs as a community, including its food needs. So we come to this table standing on Dr. John's shoulders and others like him as we seek to mitigate this issue of food insecurity. So some of you have saw this. I mentioned this article at the 5th District Convocation, but in 2019, I wrote an article in the Christian Recorder. It was an op-ed article, and in this article, I stated that a transformational food ministry moves past charity toward health, justice, sustainability, and sovereignty. And of course, because I wrote the article, of course, I thought this was a powerful idea at the time because I wrote it. But it was just a year later when I believe individuals really started to understand the message that I was trying to relay, because we all saw, this is when we saw the U.S. food system started to face severe disruptions, exposing its deep vulnerabilities in supply chain and labor and food access during the COVID-19 pandemic. And we also, if you came to mid-year convocation, we heard comments about from presenters on climate change and other social determinants of health. And we heard how these things are being affected by various changes occurring in the United States right now, which includes food insecurity. So I have to say that we have an opportunity to be that transformational agricultural food ministry that has the ability to counteract these potential harms that will occur with these changes. And I have to be very honest with you, because this is my area of expertise. I have been following the media, and I have to be honest with you. We will see weakened food safety regulations. We will see cuts in vital food assistance programs. We've already saw cuts with the school lunch program being cut in some areas. And those in office have already said that they are going to favor corporate agribusiness over small farms. So in the response to this, we hope that we are able to champion our own health by ensuring that we have access as a community to fresh and whole foods, despite these policy shifts that may inevitably increase food insecurity. We hope that this is a fight for justice, a fight for social justice, a fight for food justice, meaning we hope to advocate against this deregulation that harms our communities, but also we hope to build see what it looks like to build alternative food networks so that we're not depending on them to give us anything. Sustainability becomes even more critical as climate and environmental protections are being rolled back, which require us to be more knowledgeable about regenerative farming practices, but also it requires us to be able to know what it takes to build resilient local food systems. But I think to kind of take it home, most importantly, this is an opportunity for us to build our food sovereignty, meaning for us, by us, which food sovereignty is our right as a community to control our own food. That means we can control its access, its safety, and its nutritional value. So this is why we are launching the Let's Grow Together agricultural initiative under the umbrella of maintaining mindfulness and movement. So what is our mission and vision? Our mission is to empower individuals and communities to cultivate their own food, fostering self-sufficiency as community. Now, this is self-sufficiency, not just self-sufficiency for yourself, but self-sufficiency as community, meaning I am Ubuntu, I am because we are. Economic opportunity and spiritual growth through sustainable agriculture and education. And we hope to do this by reconnecting people with the land, honoring God's creation through wise stewardship, community building, and faith-driven agribusiness development. So there are basically 3 components of Let's Grow Together. The first one being Let's Grow Together. And so the Let's Grow Together component is really for everybody to participate in. So through this component, we will provide educational workshops on Zoom once a month. We are thinking perhaps the 3rd Saturday of every month, though you will get some notice about the specific date that we're going to decide to land on. We hope to host regional workshops through organized through district conferences, annual conferences, through the various ministry components across the district. We are going to, every month, there will be a question and answer session that we are calling Ask Farmer Finley. And this is just 30 minutes on Zoom with Reverend Finley and I, where you can access any questions, you can come with any issues that you may be having as you start to learn, as you start to start growing, and as you are learning, as we learn together. We also will provide some sort of landing page. We're not quite sure what that landing page is. In order for us to stay connected virtually, to build community, to share experiences, and for us to disseminate information to you and resources that will help you in your growing. So that is the first component. So the second component is what we are calling Fifth Farms. So this is our agribusiness pilot, and we're using that word pilot very saying it in quotes because that is indeed what it is. It is an experiment. But thankfully, we have a model that actually we know has had success in the forage farm that you see in the picture there with our Bishop Brookins, in that was created in the 18th Episcopal District. So we hope to do something similar here in the fifth, and we are going to start off by identifying congregations and, okay, all right. Start off by identifying congregation and churches to learn how to grow one or two crops on their property and in building. We want to identify a congregation or church to participate in small scale processing, and that can be the same or a different church. And with the end goal being developing one raw product and one minimally processed. So I'll give you an example. So we found a church that's able to grow peppers on their property, and we grow enough peppers to be able to package the peppers and sell it as a raw product. And we also are able to minimally process the peppers to make something like a pepper sauce or a hot sauce, to give you an example. So I understand there is a question in the chat. I will take a question in 1 second. If you just give me a moment, I am wrapping up. So how do you get involved? Well, I gave you, as I said, Let's Grow Together is for everybody. The first way to get involved is to make sure you stay connected with us. If you are on this call, you probably are already connected, and you probably already have filled out the survey. So that's great. So we will be using we have your contact information so that we can disseminate the information for the Zoom, whether it's a question and answer session, whether it's the educational workshops that we're going to do over Zoom every month. Those will be sent out to you so that you can share with your congregation. But in the meantime, if you have a immediate question, please feel free to let us know. There is a Google form that you can fill out to submit questions that you have, immediate questions that you need to be helped with in terms of if you already have a garden and you have particular issues. Please feel free to submit those questions to this QR code. And I believe Reverend Jamika is going to put the links in the chat as well, so you can grab the links as well to be able to connect. So I'm going to stop sharing so I can see, I'm going to see the chat here, because I understand we have, are these slides proprietary? Not I don't, in terms of, so the slides are being used to share information. All of the information will also be disseminated through email and posted wherever landing page. So you'll be able to go back to this recording to view it. I think, what about community gardens? So yes, as I said before, if you are interested in, be it whether you are growing in your backyard for you and your neighbor, or whether you are interested in doing a community garden, please sign up. Please fill out the Google form for the Black QR code, and I believe the links are in the chat as well. And please let us know. Please make that known. There's a question that where you can tell us specifically what you are interested in. Okay, let me just make sure I don't have any other questions. All right. All right, so I am going to yield. I'm going to put these, because now it's demo time. It's time for me to stop talking. And I'm going to yield the floor to Reverend Finley, who is going to lead us in our growing demo. But before I do that, there's one more question. If we become a small enterprise, what licenses or permits are needed? So if you are interested, please make sure you fill out the form. And there's also going to be another slide I'm going to show at the end for you to grab my email. If you are interested, if you are a pastor or just somebody that is interested, please reach out to me if you are particularly interested in the agribusiness portion. And then we will kind of go from there. I can't answer that question because it's really depends on where you are and what region you're in. It's very regional specific. So, but to answer that question, just reach out to me and we can see if you are a good fit for that particular portion to participate in that particular way. All right. So so I can stop sharing. I'm going to put yes, Reverend Jamaica is going to put I'm going to let Reverend Finley go ahead and get started, and Reverend Jamaica is going to put the contact information in the chat. We will also put it up again at the end. Okay, Reverend Finley?
Thank you, dear sister. Praise the Lord, everybody. We are excited about this, just as excited as can be. And for those of you who joined us at the mid-year conference, there were a couple of things I talked about briefly that you needed in order to grow just about anything. Number one was good dirt. Now, note I said good dirt. Good dirt is alive, right? Good dirt can sustain life. If you turn your soil over and you see pincher bugs, if you see roly-polies, if you see earthworms, that dirt is alive. Okay, if you see mushrooms are what is called decomposers. They're a fungus. There's activity in that dirt. It's alive. So you got to make sure you have good dirt. You got to have good seed. The seeds have to be good. One of the things about agriculture, it's not an exact science. It is, but it isn't. I know it's an oxymoron. Sometimes seeds don't come up. That's just a reality of it. Sometimes it's hit and miss. But you got to have good seed. Note I'm saying good. I keep saying good. You got to have good water. It's important to have good water. You got to have air. You got to have sunshine. And you got to have love. Trust me when I say that plants do better. If it's flowers or if it's a pepper plant, it does better with love. Okay, one of the things for the demo we talked about when we were in Southern California, it's just something real quick. We want to get people kind of excited about what it is that we're trying to do. It's something real quick that everybody can do and it works. But understand, all of it is connected. I said I'm a Dr. Lowe. I said that I'm a proud country boy from Arkansas. Grew up hunting, grew up fishing. It was all part of it. For those of you who fish, after you have cleaned your fish, remember this now, after you have cleaned your fish, don't throw out the water, don't throw out the scales, don't throw out the carcass. Put it in the ground, right? Put it in the ground. It helps to enrich the soil, especially for heavy feeders like tomatoes. For some reason, tomatoes love fish emulsion. So the fish emulsion that you will go to Lowe's or to Tractor Supply or one of these places to get, that fish emulsion is basically made from the scraps I just talked about. So don't throw it away. You can put it in the ground, right? But what about critters? Well, if you bury it deep enough, if you put a little wood ash around where you buried it, it'll help keep the critters away. Just remember that. Has to be wood ash though. Don't put no Duraflame ash. It's not the same. It has to be wood ash. Something about that ash the critters don't like and the soil does like. So one of the things, like we share, something real simple that everybody can do to get started. I call it window sill growing, and it works. I promise you it works. Green onions. Amen. Green onions. It's a simple start. And when you see it happening and growing, that's where kind of the excitement comes in. And it's just like I share about taking children out fishing. Take them when the fish are biting. You get them on a school of brim. They get excited. They're going to fish for the rest of their lives. So you want to see stuff growing. So this is one of the easy ways. Get you some green onions like you see here. Just cut the tops off. Just cut the tops off. Leave about that much of the onion. Okay, you have the roots at the bottom. You all give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Amen. You leave about that much at the bottom. Get you a mason jar. Okay. Pour you some water in the mason jar. About right there. Put the onions in the mason jar. Put this in the windowsill. Put it in the window where you're going to get the most sunlight, right? You will have chives all spring. You have chives all spring. Just set this in the window. Whenever you want some chives, come back along, cut the tops off, put them in your burritos, put them in your omelets. I eat onions with just about everything. You know, I love onions. So you can have them on whatever you want. It absolutely works. You can do the same thing with celery. When you get it right down to the bottom where it's that white piece, right? Cut the top off. Of course, you'll need a bigger container. You'll need a bigger growing medium, like a bowl of water. Sit it in the water. And once you start seeing that celery starting to come up out of there, once it gets about maybe 5 or 6 inches tall, you can replant it in the ground and it will grow. So just remember that there are several pieces that you can do that way. Hold on just a minute. It's one of the props that I didn't get. I left it in the windowsill. Hold on just a second. Right back. Okay, if you see this is a sweet potato. Amen. Y'all know y'all like them y'all know y'all like them candy yams. There you go. See, sis, you ready? I see you ready, Reverend Doctor. Right? Sweet potato. And hold on.
Is the base of that potato in water?
Yes,
Just
sir.
curious. It is?
It's in water.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I couldn't see it. Thank you.
And this is a regular spud. You see it growing. You saw Reverend Jennifer put it up earlier where she saw the sprouts. You got it, Reverend Jennifer? Okay, basically what we're doing right here, you all, with the water, the sweet potato, the green onion, is really, hold on just a minute. It's really just elementary level hydroponics. That's all it is. Hydroponics is literally soilless growth, or just minimal amounts of soil in order to grow food. In a lot of areas where they don't have a lot of good rich topsoil, a lot of historians believe that the famed Hanging Gardens of Babylon were advanced hydroponics, and they were able to grow food in the desert. Okay, so that's why I talk about good water. And this is the amazing thing about God. Okay, and I just want to show you this with the sweet potato. If you see all those roots at the bottom, those are the roots coming out of the potato. As long as they have that water, you're gonna have life. The water has to be good water. What do I mean by that? The nutrients. And I said the amazing thing about the connectivity of God with humanity and nature, everything that the plant needs, we need. All of the nutrients that you need to be healthy, the plants need as well. And you can do that with the water. We'll go into that a little bit more in depth at a later time. Make sure you got the right nutrients. Make sure you pH your water the right way. Make sure that you pH your soil the right way. Different plants like different pH levels. We're going to talk about how to compost. You know, there again, you all, I'm an old country boy. Boy, go out there and throw them scraps in that dirt and turn it over. I didn't know it was composting. I just knew we turned the scraps over into the dirt. But guess what is compost? The nutrients from the scraps end up in the soil. The worms, the pincher bugs eat the scraps. They excrete into the soil. The soil gets rich. It's amazing how all of that works. Grandma and them didn't know that's what they were doing, but that's what they were doing, right? So this is really basic hydroponics. So when these get about, you see those tops? When those get probably a couple of inches longer, you take those off, put those in water, they'll sprout roots. Once the roots get long enough, you just put them in the dirt and you're ready for your sweet potatoes. With your regular spuds. I love potatoes. Me and my wife love baked potatoes. They're delicious. Just cut the tops off. This is where sometimes people mess up. They put the sprouts down. Don't put them down. Put them up. Put them up. Cover them. Make sure you keep them wet, and then just watch. They're going to grow. Once they flower and the flowers die, you're ready to pull the plant. You'll dig down there and you'll have potatoes, and nothing like a good potato, right? Amen. Now this is one thing. Hold on just a minute. We're on grandma and grandpa duty, and my granddaughter. What you want, baby? Okay, then go on. Then. Okay. Go on. Now, one other thing I want to tell you. When you're dealing with peppers, make sure you wash your hands. Why do you say that, Reverend Cubie? Because I got seeds in this container right here. Dr. Jennifer, is from one of my Serrano chilies that I use for seeds. Now you can Burpee. We have some African-American seed companies. But one of the things I like to do is my plants that are real healthy, I get some of the fruit from the plants, I put them aside, and I just get the seeds. Then I use the seeds. There you go. See, sis got her bag with her seeds in it. There you go. Now, one of the reasons why I say make sure you wash your hands, Dr. Lowe, when I was opening this pepper up this morning to get these seeds, I forgot to wash my hands. So my mouth is kind of tingling right now, not in a bad way, but make sure that you wash your hands. So one of the ways you can start peppers in the window to germinate. Now, this is why growing zones are important. Where we live in the Bay Area, we have a very long growing season because we have good weather most of the year. Some of you all in the Midwest, a couple of weeks ago, it was sub-zero. Not too much going to grow in that, so you got to wait for the opportunistic time. Peppers love heat. They love heat, so you got to kind of wait so you germinate and get them ready to go. One of the ways you can do that, not just with a pepper, but just about anything, Get you a styrofoam cup. This is a pen, just poke a hole in the bottom of the cup. Why are you poking a hole in the bottom of the cup? Because you're going to fill the cup with soil. This is some of the compost from my yard. I compost a lot. I got really, really good dirt. One of my friends told me, he said, man, that dirt is so good you could probably sell it. I got really, really good dirt, right? You put your dirt in there. Now, there again, like I say, I depend on a lot that I learned from my mother and some of the OGs down south back in the day. What we were taught was take your pinky finger, go down to the second digit on your pinky finger. That's what we were taught. Drop you a couple of seeds down in there. I'm getting seeds from the seeds I got this morning, Dr. Jennifer, out of that plebano plant that is still trying to fight me with that tingle in my mouth. Amen. Cover that seed back up. Cover it with some dirt. Right? You got your second cup because you're going to pour water into this one. You pour the water in the cup until the water runs out of the hole. Now I got water running out of the hole. Right? You're going to set that down into the other cup, put it in your windowsill. You want it to be in the window where you get the most sun, right? You want to get the most sun and just sit and watch. And in a couple of weeks, you'll see something starting to come up out of there, right? Once it gets about 5 inches, it should have warmed enough outside for you to go outside and put it in the ground. You can start a lot of plants that way. They have different little miniature greenhouses where you can put your seeds in. You get a little spray bottle, keep the soil wet. It has little grow lights on top of it. Turn the lights on, and you can germinate your plants that way. The germination process, it jump starts you to get ready. So when you're outside and it's warm enough, you can just directly put it into the soil. There again, like I say, as we proceed on, as we get a little bit further, we're going to talk about composting. We're going to talk about soil quality. You want to make sure your soil is aerated. Soil primarily is made up of clay and sand. If you have too much clay, you won't have good drainage. If you have too much sand, you'll have a lot of runoff. You won't have very stable plants. So you want to make sure you have a good combination of both. You want to add organic material to help enriching the soil. We're going to deal with fertilizers. I don't use chemical-based fertilizers. I only use natural fertilizers. I'm going to kind of end with this. After World War II, there were the United States had immeasurable amounts of nitrates that were used in bomb manufacturing. So what are you going to do with all these nitrates? Nitrates is what the man used. Fertilizer bomb was used to blow up that building in Oklahoma all those years ago. What are you going to do with all these nitrates? They literally gave them away to farmers. They pennies for the ton, literally. So you had all of these free nitrates in there, all of this, a boom in the ability to grow food. But one of the drawbacks was the runoff from the land and the nitrates into the water began to affect the water. So that's something that we'll talk about later, because that causes algae blooms. You get a red tide, the fish die, it gets funky. It's a whole lot of stuff. So there are a bunch of natural fertilizers that you can use, stuff that you can do on your own, stuff that you can buy, things that we'll share together. Thank you all for indulging me for this length of time. I hope this was a little helpful, and we're excited about Let's Go. So let's grow together, you all. Amen.
Thank you so much, Reverend Finley, for that very interactive demonstration. One real quick thing I want to just add. You guys can pretty much grow in anything. So here's a box.
Anything.
All right, that has holes in the bottom, and you can see the dirt, right? That I'm going to start And actually this is large enough to put on my windowsill.
Oh, okay, good
Just
deal.
set it there, right? But I'm gonna cut this top off so to kind of let it sit on that so the water's not dripping on my sill,
There you
right? So
go.
you can pretty much grow in anything. My preference is to grow in something that is going to like degrade anyway, like a cardboard box. However, I do see people take things like um plastic or food grade plastic. This is not food grade plastic, but I just want to show it as an example. If you were to use something like this and like cut the bottle right here or even right here,
Yep.
you can line it with it's called pond liner. This is that black liner. You can just line it with that, poke holes in the bottom, and that's a good way for you to kind of like so you can pretty much anything. I've seen people grow stuff in a shoe, an old shoe,
Yeah, absolutely.
all types of stuff, right? Um, a lot of times when we think about gardening, we're like, oh, do I need to go? Do I need to? How much is it going to cost? Like, well, if you're just starting at your house, it's not gonna be too much that you're going to have to buy because Reverend Finley did a great job of using some materials that we kind of already have around our house, right? So yeah, we just wanted to kind of give you something just for you can start where you can start with. I did see a lot of questions in the chat about how many seeds. So for the demo, I can go ahead and answer that. For the demo that he did, if your seed is pretty much really tiny, like really seeds are really there's a wide scope of how big they are. If it's really tiny, meaning you barely can see it with your eye, a couple of seeds will be fine, right? Not
Yep.
all of them are going to germinate. If you have a seed like this bean seed here, I normally just use one
Yep.
per cup. If it's this big or bigger, one is sufficient, right? So that answers that question. But all the other questions that are about community gardens and soil testing that I see in the chat, you guys, we're going to answer all those questions and more. We just don't want to hold you more than an hour, a little over an hour. So again, if you have a burning question that you want answered, please, in the chat, there is a link for gardening questions. Go ahead and grab that link and submit it, and we can get back to you fairly quickly, like within a couple of days to answer your question. If your question is involved in surrounding how to community gardens or being a part of the agribusiness portion of Let's Grow Together agricultural initiative, please number one, make sure you are connected by filling out the Google form. And number two,
Amen.
send me an email directly to me, and I will reach out to you and we can have a conversation. And perhaps I can make a visit, depending on where you are, to kind of do some analysis of your property. I'm actually already got a call from Reverend Finley is going to be our guinea pig, perhaps, and I got a call from another pastor as well about coming to look at their property. So that's kind of where we are. So hopefully you were good. Oh, Reverend Taylor said me. Okay. Got you, Reverend Taylor. I'll get to you. I will reach out to you about setting up a call. But please make sure you are connected and stay tuned because our first educational workshop will be in April. So stay tuned for that. You'll see a flyer with the topic that we're going to start out with. It'll be something elementary based off the surveys. This is really why we wanted you to fill the survey out. So we kind of know where people are and where if we need to start from the beginning, people are in different levels. So definitely, thank you so much for joining us. I am going to, and we look forward to growing together with you. I'm going to stop the recording.